Hello, everyone, and good morning if you're in Australia. This is our weekly live reading. I'm Susan Jane, and I'm going to be helping you with your readings and your moon planting guide this week. Now, as you are aware, I used to own a 90-acre organic crop farm, and I used to do planting by the moons. And because we're doing flower readings, it just resonated that we look at the moon planting and the moon cycles that go with our flower readings and our goals, because flowers are our goals in life. So and let me know that you're here, because hang on, I better put the comments on so I can see. Let me know if you're here and doing this. If you want a flower reading, all you need to do is pick a number between 1 and 100 and a flower will come up for us. But first of all, the moon cycle. So this week, we've just had the new moon come through yesterday. And this week, it's all about the waxing crescent. So we're just starting to get the moon coming through, the moon light coming through. So the moonlight is increasing. Now, the soil is now releasing. So it's come from that, closing in to actually releasing. The energy is drawn up. The growth is increased. And what we would be sowing this week is leaf crops. So we're looking at leaf crops in that context. Lettuce, kale, all those leafy crops that are producing, that you eat the leaves or you produce the leaves, or even if you're growing leaf type flowers, leaf type plants that are just leaves, like my leafy ones. That is all to do with this week. So that's what you're sowing this week. It has a lot to do with with our health goals, I should say, and it's about supporting. In a flower image, we're looking at the leaves and we're looking at guidance. So again, when we're looking at goals this week, we're looking at a guidance for the goals. So we're really gathering that information and getting an understanding of where we want to go. We're not actually creating those goals. We have an idea of where we're going. We're not actually creating them as yet, but we're getting that understanding of them. So it's all about getting the information, getting the understanding of it. So with the phases, when we look at our Trust Mastery program, so when we're learning about trusting ourselves, this week it's all about self-awareness. Now, the physical aspect is the self-talk. The mental aspect is self-respect. The emotional aspect is self-honesty, and the spiritual aspect is self-trust. So when we look at the physical side of self-talk, it's getting an understanding of that regular communication and what we are receiving. If you're getting a lot of the negative self-talk, then often we will act on it in a physical manner. So we want to be really mindful of that self-talk that we are getting. And if you're getting, because I do it to myself all the time still, it's like, oh, you dope, you sort of have a go at yourself and you give yourself a hard time. Be mindful of it. Just be aware that that's what you're doing. I'm not asking you to change, not asking you to do anything different, except just being mindful of it. That was negative. Do I need to do that? And that's all. And that's it. That's being self-aware. With the mental aspect, I want to look at that self-respect. So the values, the skills, the integrity of time. We start to sort of want to really get a better understanding of our values and who we are and what we are, where we're going. The emotional side is self-honesty. So being true to yourself and who you are unique. We are, that way inclined. So we can do that. The spiritual side is self-trust. So be trustworthy to yourself and others will follow. So when we are being honest and we're being trustworthy, then we can actually follow that through. And it's all about getting that understanding and that guidance from other people, from other aspects. So that is our moon. Remember, we're planting our leaf crops this week. And in planting our leaf crops, we're looking at our health goals and we're actually getting an understanding of it. So great time to go to the doctors for your regular checkup, a good time to get a better understanding or actually start to put in place those, when you have those health goals, we look at our exercise. We sort of go, oh, I'll start next week. Well, this is that next week. This is a good time to actually start. We're not putting the whole goals in place. We're just starting to get that information. We're starting to get the understanding. Can we do it? The self-efficacy behind it. We need to look at those health goals. So it's the health goals this week that is coming through. especially for this new moon and the waxing crescent that's coming through. So that is our health. That's our moon cycles and our goals for this week. When we look at it now, oh, hello, I've got somebody on. Hi, just say hi if you, and I will be able to see who you are. If you want to pick a number between 1 and 100, we can do that. If you're already somebody I know and I've already got your number, like if it's Leah, I've already got your number. It is a quieter one this week. The wind is blowing something chronic outside. All right, so the first one I am going to do is for Brian, who picked number 25. So this is Brian's flower. And when it's ready to come up, hang on, and I will share that one with you so you can see number 25. And I do move these numbers around so they don't stay the same, just to keep you guessing. So with Brian, we're talking again with this is about the leaf. So we're talking about guidance this week, and we're talking about our health goals. So when we're discussing our health goals and we look at this flower, although there's two main health goals with this flower. Hang on, let me bring it over here. There's two main health. This is the main health goal, and there's another one blurred in the background. So when we start to think of health goals in this one, we have a big focus that we have on that, but there's also a secondary benefit in this. So if this was your mental health goals, then this would also be your physical one. If this was your physical health goals, this could be your mental health goals. So when we're looking at those concepts, we're looking at, there's two there that we're looking at. So again, we focus on this first one here, which has got the clearer color in it. So Brian, when we look at that, your whole goal is very, very circular. So it's very, very feminine. So it's very nurturing. We need to make sure you're really nurturing yourself on it. However, we're meant to be talking about the leaves, aren't we? But anyway, this goal here, now I'm not sure that, I believe that will be your mental health goal, and that is actually going to help your physical health goal. It's going to even highlight that physical health. So the more you work on this side of things, the better. Oh, it's Silvia. Hi, Silvia. You're going to go number 1. Okay, I'll do you next, Silvia. So this is your mental health goal, and I would say this is going to improve your physical health at the same time. And we do know that when we're looking at mental health, you increase your exercise, it actually helps your mental health. And so you're covering off on both sides of it. But your guides this week are very small. We've got a lot in the black background that are blurred. So you have got guides in the background that are blurred, but the clear one is happening down below. So we're looking at, it's a physical guide, and the shape of the flower, the shape of the leaves are more elongated. So it's more of a masculine help. So when we look at what you need to focus on this week, we're looking at the masculine guide of a physical nature. So it could be a man, or it could be a female that's got very direct and to the point guidance for you. So it's not a female that would be loving and nurturing and, do this, a bit like me, bit soft and gentle. It's more of a male or a female that is more direct and to the point. They're going to actually give you some very, very structured understanding of how that can help your goals up here, how it can help your health goals. So with these guidance down there, they're right down the bottom. Look, it's really, really concrete. It's almost like they're going to give you the direct understanding of do this, do that, and this will be your result. And you need to do that. Now, it's not huge in your face guidance. This is just down low. It's very subtle, but it's very, very clear. And I often find these are like, say you go to the physio and they say, do these exercises, and they do it in a manner down here. They give you the exercises, they show you and everything else, but you have to do it. If you don't do it, they don't work. And I've seen that a lot with the physical, especially with physiotherapy, because I worked in the sports trainer for 30 years. I worked with a lot of physiotherapists. They do give you these exercises. Now, honestly, the work they do is basically just triggering what needs to be done. If you don't do those exercises, it's pointless. You just have to keep going back. And that's what this is saying to you for your health goals down there. If you don't practice them, if you don't actually do what you're told to do, they're not going to work. And that's your biggest calling for this week. practice what you've been given this information to do. So that's yours, Brian. Now I'm going to do Sylvia's, and Sylvia's is number 1. Right, number 1 for you. Now we're looking at our health goals. You might not have seen the whole, oops, let me share this one first and I'll bring it over. You may not have seen the first part because you've jumped in, but we're looking at our health goals. It's because it's the waxing crescent. We're looking at health goals and focusing on, bring it over, focusing on the leaves of our health goals. Now, when we look at this image, there is no leaves to start with. So there is no external guidance for you. But what there is in this picture, because it is still a rose in its bud, what we're looking at in this picture is we've got a strong calyx there. Now, the calyx is the protection when the bud starts. So when we're talking about a health goal, you've had a protection there for your health goal, and now that protection is still there and the goal is only budding. So if you're talking about a health goal that you wanting to do or wanting to achieve this week, it's still in its bud stage. It still hasn't quite fully opened. And that's not bad. Actually, that's good, because at this, oops, hang on, I'm in a hotel. Oh, I love that. I'm in a hotel in Brizzo waiting for a train. Okay. Isn't it windy, Silvia? Oh, my goodness, I can't believe how windy it was. It's settled down now here on the Gold Coast, but it was still pretty. It was bad this morning when I went for my morning walk. But anyway, this is your health goal. It's still in bud. So there's something that's coming through that you want to actually express there. Now, when we look at the guidance, okay, when we look at this week's new moon, what it's saying is we've got to gather this information, okay? So we want to gather some information, and this is good that this is a goal that's still in bud form, because you do need to gather a bit more information on it, okay, before you can actually let it blossom and let it come to fruition. So gather a bit more information. So when we sort of going, say it was a diet goal for your health, and you're looking at, you think you might be, not dyslexic, what am I talking about? You think you might be gluten tolerant or something, gluten intolerant. So you've got this understanding that your body's reacting a bit strange, and somebody says, well, try, going on a gluten-free diet. It's now you sort of go, okay, that's a bit of a goal. I could look at that. Let's gather the information I need to understand what a gluten-free diet is, or understand what this type of diet is, or understand what this type of exercise is, or what this means to my health. Get that information. That's what it's all about this week, is getting that information, because you need to have that to create the better goal for you, to create a stronger goal for you. Now, it says you've got no guidance here. So there's not a person that's going to help you. There's not a spirit that's going to help you. This is basically you doing your research and getting an understanding of it. So that is your health goal for this week, and that is what it's all about. It's all starting to come through. And this poor little flower, I took this photo and I didn't realize until I blew the photo up, but the poor little rose is quite bruised. You can see the bruise and the markings on this petal, on the petals. The petals are attraction. It's what you're attracting. And they are a little bit bruised and a little bit worse for wear. So I'm thinking that, you've experienced a few health issues that, they're just starting to make you think a little bit differently and making you sort of go, okay, I don't really want to attract that into my life. There's a few knocks and bruises that I've had that I don't want to attract into my life again. And it could be hiccups, as simple as I've had a lot of indigestion lately, or as it could be a mental health aspect, and you've been thinking not quite clearly as you would like to. So gather some more information on whatever that health issue is, and start to look at how you're going to put it together. And create what you need. You have got the protection. The calyx is very protective there. So you are protected. Even though you've been knocked around a little bit, you are protected. So you're going to be fine. But just gather that information. So, Silvia, I hope that makes sense for you. It's the first time you've been on the live one. So congratulations. Thank you for joining me. And I hope that flower reading helped you. The next one I need to do is Leah. Now, Leah is number 83. Good, thanks. We'll have to chat about that later. Leah is number 83, And this is, what did she say hers was about? Oh, she said hers is about work. So she wanted to look at work on this one. And because we're talking a lot about the health goals this particular week, mainly because of the, oops, hang on, let me share this. Mainly because of the aspect of our health, the way the moon cycle is. So I go by the moon cycle so I can focus a little bit more on the areas. Now, when we're looking at this one for Leah, she wants to know a little bit more about work and like career, that type of thing. Now, we can read that completely different to how we want to read a health goal. So I'm actually going to blend the two because honestly, I know that Leah is in this work environment and it's actually affecting her health. And it's like with anyone, when you're in a work environment that's not conducive to who you are or not conducive to your morals or your values, it can be quite emotionally draining. It can be emotionally draining. It can be physically draining, but it can really muck around with your mental health. So I'm going to talk about her business or her work and still bring in that health element. So for number 83 with her work, now what I can see with this image is similar to the very first one, is that we've got two really strong flowers in this one. This is the main one, obviously the focus on it. And as that works, there's going to bring in that secondary area. And if it's about work, we've got all these buds coming through that they're really clear. So there's other work aspects that are coming through for you there that you are still in the background. They're still coming through. If this was just work, I'd say hold on to where you are because there's more coming through and it's going to help. I say hold on to where you are because we all need the financial support of work. No, not all of us. Some people like to live a different way, but in general, work is really, we need the work. We need to pay our bills. So work is a good thing. Now with yours, Leah, what I want you to be mindful of is that you aren't going to get a lot of guidance this week. Okay, there's not a lot of guidance and support. There's masculine there and it's blurry. So, and it's of a physical nature. So there is stuff there for you, but it's not really going to be that helpful this week. There's a lot of spirit stuff happening behind you that may be better to connect into. Especially this big green one here. I would be connecting more into that. So again, going into a bit more meditation, a bit more understanding and seeking some more spiritual help there. But as far as your work goes, like this one here is blurring off, but this is your main area. Look, for me, it's screaming out, stay where you are. You're not quite ready yet. You're not quite ready to move on. Now, when we look at our health aspect to this image, it's saying that I would say this is your physical side, and this would be your more of your emotional side. And with this, so this would be your physical health. This would be your emotional health, your mental health. Sorry. So with this, it's coming through as you've got to keep going with where you're at. And there's learnings, there's understandings, and there's other things happening in the background that are still coming into fruition. They're not quite ready yet. So just stick with where you are or where you're going at this particular time and really focus on your physical health and I don't mean that in a way where you're getting sick or anything. I mean that in a more positive way. This seems to be quite uplifting, and it feels to be more like focus on yoga or those external things, Zumba or something like that that's physical, but still really good for your mental health, your physical health as well. So I'm thinking that you need to just. I know this is about work, but I just feel that your work is just going along as it is. There is going to be some more changes, but there's new stuff coming through. Focus on you at the moment. Focus on the physical side to support that mental health area. They're coming through. They're taking their time, but they are coming through, and you can still see that they're in bud. So, how long that takes, I'm not sure. But this week, it's all about your health. It's all about your guidance. You're not getting a lot of guidance for your health. You don't really need it. You are getting a lot of spiritual support in the background. And as far as your business work goes, focus on the activity, the physical activity, and that softer emotional, mental health will come through too. It's just blurred in the background, but it's still there, and it's still important for you to get that side of it right. And again, don't feel it's really about your business. Getting your physical side right is just keeping that business going. You need to have that other side to it. I hope that makes sense for you, Leah, because that was a little bit challenging. That was a little bit fun. I'll quickly do one for Sal, because she always supports me. And I will do a random one for you, Sal. And I'll do one for Melly as well, if there's no other lives, because it's a bit of a quiet one today. So, yep, so we got the randomizer going. All right, so here we go, Sal. Here's yours, 27. All right, let's look at 27 for Sally. Again, we're looking at your health goals. Here we go. Share this one. Share screen. Okay, Sal, here's yours. Woohoo! How pretty is that? Okay. Health goals. Well, you've got to start with, let's have a look at your leaves, your guidance. So you've got a lot of the physical guidance in your health goals. You've got a bit of spirit stuff and a bit of the here and now, but this is the main area we can see. I suppose this one's really the main one in focus. So yes, you've got a spirit guide, you've got guides coming through there. That's more of a physical nature. So it's going to be either it's a masculine nature as well. So either a male giving you very direct, clear directions or guidance, or a female doing the same. So it's not a soft nurturing area. It is more direct, more logical, and more easy to follow aspect of guidance for you. So now, as far as your health goals go, there's heaps of them there. And I think that is your general way of living, if I know you rightly. You don't focus on, I've got to eat right, I've got to exercise right, you have this very holistic approach on it, where you're doing all of it in different ways and in different aspects. That the type of person you are is suggesting that you have a lot of these areas that you do take into consideration. You are aware of your spiritual health, you are aware of your mental health, you are aware of your physical health, you are aware of all those little elements, all those little goals in with them. And I don't see that as an issue. I know that when you're having emotional, mental aspects of challenging aspects, that you do reach out and ask for help. And that this shows in this way. It shows you in this image that you're not afraid to ask for support or guidance or help. There's one area there that you've been focusing on. That's just finishing off now. So that's on the way out. And is not as important at the moment. So when I see this sort of thing, it's like, okay, I've tried this new diet and, this new craze, and I'm doing that. And it's like, okay, well, I've done that and I've got a good response, or I'm taking these new herbal tablets and I've got a good response, but, that's enough. I don't need to go any further. That's how I see this image there going past. Still got more coming through, but really there's just the two main focus. And again, it sort of tends to be more your mental health and your physical health. We're looking at those sort of things, and it seems to be quite strong in that terminology, in more of a general sense. There's not anything in particular that we need to look at. So for your health goals for this week, just keep smiling. Look, I just see them as smiley faces. I don't see there being any, just continue on as you would be going. You're going to get a bit of support down here. Like, see these blurry areas, what I would see them as, like, they're of a physical nature, but because they're a blurred physical nature, they're not necessarily somebody in person. It's more like watching a YouTube channel and somebody is helping you with your health areas there. So they may be explaining to you how to develop your intuition. So they're helping your mental health there or your spiritual health there. They may be explaining to you how to do a particular yoga exercise. So it's not necessarily in person. This could be like virtual assistance of that kind. So you're going to have a little bit of that. And there is quite a big area of that for you to help you with here. But all your other goals, they're a bit blurry. But in the same token, I know a lot of my health goals are blurry too. It's like you just sort of take them on board and go with it. So that's what yours is all about, Sal. Just take it on board and go with it. You've got two main areas there, but you're going to get a bit of guidance with that too. So that is yours for today. And the last one is Mel. I'm just going to do Mel. Have I got time for Mel? Yep, quickly, really quickly. All right. Mel, get the randomizer going. Beautiful. So here we go. Here's your number 77. Number 77 is this one. Okay, right. Let's share this screen for you. Okay, can you see that, Mel? That is the beautiful gum nuts. So again, when we're looking at this week, we've got the new moon we've just had. We're going into the waxing crescent. So we need to be mindful of our health goals and collecting that information. So we're going to get a bit of information. Your biggest lot of information is going to obviously be spiritual in nature. It's a big download. You're going to get a huge download coming through this week, real big aha moments about your health, about that sort of understanding. There is some guidance down low of the physical nature support, and they are all of a masculine type of information that you're going to be receiving. This spirit one is also of a masculine nature that you will be receiving. So when we look at that in a spirit form, it's again masculine. It's really to the point. It's not soft. It's not fluffy. It's quite analytic. It's quite to the point. It's quite. It can be quite take it or leave it attitude. Here's the information. Take it or leave it. You know, like there's not that emotional attachment to it. There's information. I'm giving it to you. You can take it on board or you can let it go. You're going to get quite a bit of that. You're going to get that definitely from the physical context. So if you were going to a doctor, they would be saying this, and you basically can take it or leave it. At this spiritual nature, you're going to be given this information. You're going to get an aha moment. You're going to get an understanding of it. Whether you choose to go forward with it is, again, your choice. When we look at the flower image for your health goals this week, you're very, very protected. Like these are gum nuts. Now, gum nuts, we know the calyx, that's the sheath that covers them to allow it to open up. You can see one opening up there. With this, it turns into a very, very hard nut. So it's a very, very strong protection. In fact, the protection can be so strong, it can almost be not allowing you to grow in that area. However, because it's a cluster, we're going to have lots of small areas of growth, of understanding of goals in your health area. So it could be a physical goal here. It could be a dietary goal here. It could be a exercise goal here. So you're going to have these different goals that you're going to be looking at. And they're going to be contained in those areas. So I see this with your health goals, with your health this week, is keeping them contained. One area that we go to when our health is playing up, or whether it's our mental health or our physical health, emotional health, it doesn't really matter. But one of the areas that what happens is when we get a bit down, we tend to drag all the other down crap that we've had throughout our life, and we tend to put it all together. When we're happy, we never grab all the happy times that we've had and bring them in together. When we sort of feel a bit melancholy, we'll think of the past good times. But when we're sad, when we're starting to get a little bit, tipping on sort of the depressed side of things, we can drag back all those negative feelings and emotions and thoughts and aspects. I know when I'm having, what's the technical term for it? Crappy day, I will sort of sometimes reflect back and go, oh, and I did that wrong. Oh, and I did that wrong. Oh, and this happened. So I tend to bring back all that negativity. You need to keep these contained. That's what this is saying. Keep them contained. If you're having a bad day at work, you're having a bad day at work. It doesn't mean you're having a bad day at home, unless you work from home, and then you could be. But try and keep those areas contained. Try and keep them separate. If you're going for a walk, if you're going to do some exercise, enjoy the moment. Enjoy what you're doing and what you're seeing. If you're going to have something to eat, enjoy what you're having to eat. Enjoy that moment and keep areas segmented. Don't sit there and eat and stress over work. Don't sit there and eat and stress over, relationships. Enjoy what you've got there in front of you and allow that food to go in and do its healing stuff. Keep your areas segmented. And that's what your biggest thing is this week. Segmenting those areas in your life for your health. That is your Mel. Okay, that's it. Running out of time, got to go. Thank you so much for joining me. We are getting clearer, and I think the whole concept is getting better. So I really appreciate you jumping on and giving me the opportunity to, really fine-tune this area, because again, I've done flower readings for a long time, but I have not actually done it online, and it is a little bit challenging. It is all new, so I'm getting a clearer understanding of it. So I do appreciate anybody jumping in and joining in, and I thank you so much. So that's it. If you want to get your own flower reading about your own particular goal, where I'm not focusing just on the week, the information is in the description. You can jump in and get your own personal flower reading. So that's me for today. I will catch up with you all next week, and I hope you have a great week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.